Saul Dagenham left the darkened bedroom. A moment later it was flooded with light as one wall illuminated. It seemed as though a giant mirror reflected Gisbella's bedroom, but with one odd quirk. Gisbella lay in the bed alone, but in the reflection Saul Dagenham sat on the edge of the bed alone. The mirror was, in fact, a sheet of lead glass separating identical rooms. Dagenham had just illuminated his. Love by the clock. Dagenham's voice came through a speaker. Disgusting. No, Saul, never. Frustrating. Not that either. But unhappy. No, you're greedy. Be content with what you've got. God knows it's more than I ever had. You're magnificent. You're extravagant. Now go to sleep, darling. We're skiing tomorrow. No, there's been a change of plan. I've got to go to work. Oh, Saul, you promised me. No more working and fretting and running. Aren't you going to keep your promise? I can't with a war on. To hell with the war. You sacrificed enough up at Tycho Sands. They can't ask any more of you. I've got one job to finish. I'll help you finish it. No, you'd best keep out of this, Gisbella. You don't trust me? I don't want you hurt. Nothing can hurt us. Foil can. What? 4 Mile? 4 Mile is foil. I know that. I know you know. But I never... No, you never told me. You're magnificent. Keep faith with me the same way, Gisbella. Then how did you find out? Foil slipped. How? The name. 4 Mile of Ceres. He bought the Ceres company. But Geoffrey 4 Mile. He invented it. He thinks he invented it. He remembered it. Geoffrey 4 Mile is the name they use in the megalomania test down in Combined Hospital in Mexico City. I used the megalmood on Foyle when I tried to open him up. The name must have stayed buried in his memory. He dressed it up and thought it was original. That tipped me. Poor Gully. Dagenham smiled. Yes, no matter how we defend ourselves against the outside, we're always licked by something from the inside. There's no defense against betrayal, and we all betray ourselves. What are you going to do, Saul? Do? Finish him, of course. For 20 pounds of pyre? No, to win a lost war. What? Gisbella came to the glass wall separating the rooms. You, Saul? Patriotic? He nodded, almost guiltily. It's ridiculous, grotesque, but I am. You've changed me completely. I'm a sane man again. He pressed his face to the wall, too, and they kissed through 3 inches of lead glass. Mare Nubium was ideally suited to the growth of anaerobic bacteria, soil organisms, phage, rare molds, and all those microscopic life forms essential to medicine and industry, which required airless culture. Bacteria Inc. was a huge mosaic of culture fields traversed by catwalks spread around a central clump of barracks, offices, and plant. Each field was a giant glass vat 100 feet in diameter, 12 inches high and no more than 2 molecules thick. A day before the sunrise line, creeping across the face of the moon, reached Mare Nubium, the vats were filled with culture medium. At sunrise, abrupt and blinding on the airless moon, the vats were seeded, and for the next 14 days of continuous sun they were tended, shielded, regulated, nurtured. The field workers trudging up and down the catwalks in spacesuits. As the sunset line crept toward Mare Nubium, the vats were harvested and then left to freeze and sterilize in the 2-week frost of the lunar night. Jaunting was of no use in this tedious step-by-step cultivation. Hence, Bacteria Inc. hired unfortunates incapable of jaunting and paid them slave wages. This was the lowest form of labor, the dregs and scum of the solar system, and the barracks of Bacteria Inc. resembled an inferno during the 2-week layoff period. Foyle discovered this when he entered Barrack 3. He was met by an appalling spectacle. There were 200 men in the giant room. There were whores and their hard-eyed pimps, professional gamblers and their portable tables, dope peddlers, money lenders. There was a haze of acrid smoke and the stench of alcohol and analog. Furniture, bedding, clothes, unconscious bodies, empty bottles, rotting food were scattered on the floor. A roar challenged Foyle's appearance, but he was equipped to handle the situation. He spoke to the first hairy face thrust into his. "Kempsey?" he asked quietly. He was answered outrageously. Nonetheless, he grinned and handed the man a $100 credit note. "Kempsey?" he asked another. He was insulted. He paid again and continued his saunter down the barracks, distributing 100 credit notes in calm thanks for insult and invective. In the center of the barracks, he found his key man, the obvious barracks bully, a monster of a man, naked, hairless, fondling 2 bods and being fed whiskey by sycophants. "Kempsey?" Foyle asked in the old gutter tongue. "I'm digging Roger Kempsey." "I'm digging you for broke," the man answered, thrusting out a huge paw for Foyle's money. "Gimme." There was a delighted howl from the crowd. Foyle smiled and spat in his eye. There was an abject hush. The hairless man dumped the bods and surged up to annihilate Foyle. 5 seconds later, he was groveling on the floor with Foyle's foot planted on his neck. "Still digging Kempsey," Foyle said gently. "Digging hard, man. You better finger him, man, or you're gone is all." "Washroom!" the hairless man howled. "Hold up! Washroom!" "Now you broke me," Foyle said. He dumped the rest of his money on the floor before the hairless man and walked quietly to the washroom. Kempsey was cowering in the corner of a shower, face pressed to the wall, moaning in a dull rhythm that showed he had been in it for hours. "Kempsey?" the moaning man answered him. "What's the matter, you?" "Clothes," Kempsey wept. "Clothes. All over clothes. Like filth, like sick, like dirt. Clothes. All over clothes." "Up, man, get up." "Clothes. All over clothes. Like filth, like sick, like dirt." "Kempsey, mind me, man. Orel sent me." Kempsey stopped weeping and turned his sodden countenance to Foyle. "Who? Who?" "Sergei Orel sent me. I've bought your release. You're free. We'll blow." "When?" "Now." "Oh, God! God bless him! Bless him!" Kempsey began to caper in weary exultation. The bruised and bloated face split into a facsimile of laughter. He laughed and capered, and Foyle led him out of the washroom. But in the barracks, he screamed and wept again, and as Foyle led him down the long room, the naked bods swept up armfuls of dirty clothes and shook them before his eyes. Kempsey foamed and gibbered. "What's the matter, him?" Foyle inquired of the hairless man in the gutter patois. The hairless man was now a respectful neutral, if not a friend. "Guesses for grabs," he answered. "Always like that, him. Show old clothes and he twitch, man." "For why already?" "For why? Crazy is all." At the main office airlock, Foyle got Kempsey and himself corked in suits and then led him out to the rocket field, where a score of anti-grav beams pointed their pale fingers upward from pits in the gibbous earth hanging in the night sky. They entered a pit, entered Foyle's yawl, and uncorked. Foyle took a bottle and a sting ampule from a cabinet. He poured a drink and handed it to Kempsey. He hefted the ampule in his palm, smiling. Kempsey drank the whiskey, still dazed, still exulting. "Free," he muttered. "God bless him. Free. Christ, what I've been through." He drank again. "I still can't believe it. It's like a dream. Oh, why don't you take me off, man? Kempsey choked and dropped the glass, staring at Foyle in horror. "Your face!" he exclaimed. "My God, your face! What happened to it?" "What happened to it, you son of a bitch?" Foyle cried. He leapt up, his tiger face burning, and flung the ampule like a knife. It pierced Kempsey's neck and hung quivering. Kempsey toppled. Foyle accelerated, blurred to the body, picked it up in a mid-fall, and carried it aft to the starboard stateroom. There were 2 main staterooms in the yawl, and Foyle had prepared both of them in advance. The starboard room had been stripped and turned into a surgery. Foyle strapped the body on the operating table, opened a case of surgical instruments, and began the delicate operation he had learned by hypno-training that morning, an operation made possible only by his 5-to-1 acceleration. He cut through skin and fascia, sawed through the rib cage, exposed the heart, dissected it out, and connected veins and arteries to the intricate blood pump alongside the table. He started the pump. 20 seconds, objective time, had elapsed. He placed an oxygen mask over Kempsey's face and switched on the accelerating suction and rotation of the oxygen pump. Foyle decelerated, checked Kempsey's temperature, shot an anti-shock series into his veins, and waited. Blood gurgled through the pump in Kempsey's body. After 5 minutes, Foyle removed the oxygen mask. The respiration relax continued. Kempsey was without a heart, yet alive. Foyle sat down alongside the operating table and waited. The stigmata still showed on his face. Kempsey remained unconscious. Foyle waited. Kempsey awoke, screaming. Foyle leaped up, tightened the straps, and leaned over the heartless man. "Hello, Kempsey," he said. Kempsey screamed. "Look at yourself, Kempsey, you're dead." Kempsey fainted. Foyle brought him to with the oxygen mask. "Let me die, for God's sake!" "What's the matter? Does it hurt? I died for 6 months, and I didn't whine. Let me die." "In time, Kempsey. Your sympathetic block's been bypassed, but I'll let you die in time if you behave. You were aboard Vorga on September 16th, 2436. "For Christ's sake, let me die." "You were aboard Vorga?" "Yes." "You passed a wreck out in space. Wreck of the Nomad. She signaled for help and you passed her by. Yes?" "Yes." "Why?" "Christ! Oh, Christ, help me!" "Why?" "Oh, Jesus!" "I was aboard Nomad, Kempsey. Why did you leave me to rot?" "Sweet Jesus, help me! Christ, deliver me!" "I'll deliver you, Kempsey, if you answer questions. Why did you leave me to rot?" "Couldn't pick you up." "Why not?" "Refs aboard." "Oh, I guess right then. You were running refugees in from Callisto?" "Yes." "How many?" 600. "That's a lot, but you could have made room for one more. Why didn't you pick me up?" "We weren't scuttling the refs." "We were scuttling the refs." "What?" Foyle cried. "Overboard. All of them. 600. Strip 'em. Took their clothes, money, jewels, baggage, put 'em through the airlock in batches. Christ. The clothes all over the ship. The shrieking and the... Jesus. If I could only forget. The naked women. Blue. Busting wide open. Spinning behind us. The clothes all over the ship. 600. Scuttled. You son of a bitch. It was a racket. You took their money and never intended bringing them to Earth. It was a racket. And that's why you didn't pick me up. Would have had to scuttle you anyway. Who gave the order?" "Captain." "Name?" "Joyce. Lindsay Joyce." "Address?" "Scopsy Colony, Mars." "What?" Foyle was thunderstruck. "He's a Scopsy? You mean, after hunting him for a year, I can't touch him, hurt him, make him feel what I felt?" He turned away from the tortured man on the table, equally tortured himself by frustration. A Scopsy. The one thing I never figured on. After preparing that port stateroom for him, what am I going to do? What in God's name am I going to do? He roared in fury, the stigmata showing livid on his face. He was recalled by a desperate moan from Kempsey. He returned to the table and bent over the dissected body. "Let's get it straight for the last time. The Scopsy, Lindsay Joyce, gave the order to scuttle the refs?" "Yes." "And to let me rot?" "Yes, yes, yes. For God's sake, that's enough. Let me die." "Live, you pig man. Filthy, heartless bastard. Live without a heart. Live and suffer. I'll keep you alive forever, you." A lurid flash of light caught Foyle's eye. He looked up. His burning image was peering through the large square porthole of the stateroom. As he leapt to the porthole, the burning man disappeared. Foyle left the stateroom and darted forward to main controls, where the observation bubble gave him 270 degrees of vision. The burning man was nowhere in sight. "It's not real," he murmured. "It couldn't be. It's a sign, a good luck sign. A guardian angel. It saved me up on the Spanish stairs. It's telling me to go ahead and find Lindsay Joyce." He strapped himself into the pilot chair, ignited the yawl's jets, and slammed into full acceleration. "Lindsay Joyce, Scopsy Colony, Mars," he thought as he was thrust back into the pneumatic chair. A Scopsy, without senses, without pleasure, without pain. The ultimate and stoic escape. How am I going to punish him, torture him, put him in the port stateroom, and make him feel what I felt aboard Nomad? Damnation! It's as though he's dead. He is dead, and I've got to figure out how to beat a dead body and make it feel pain. To come so close to the end and have the door slammed in your face? The damnable frustration of revenge. Revenge is for dreams. never for reality. An hour later, he released himself from the acceleration and his fury, unbuckled himself from the chair, and remembered Kempsey. He went aft to the surgery. The extreme acceleration of the takeoff had choked the blood pump enough to kill Kempsey. Suddenly, Foyle was overcome with a novel, passionate revulsion for himself. He fought it helplessly. "What's the matter, you?" he whispered. "Think of the 600 scuttled. Think of yourself. Are you turning into a white-livered cellar Christian, turning the other cheek and whimpering forgiveness? Olivia, what are you doing to me? Give me strength, not cowardice." Nevertheless, he averted his eyes as he scuttled the body.